Hello guys, today I'm going to be making a dagger from a cant hook. Now this hook I found out in the woods with my dad. It's about 120 years old, I believe. So first of all, I spark tested it and it's nice high carbon steel, which is surprising to me just because it is so old. So I'm going to throw it on the wire wheel, knock off some of this rust, and then I'm going to hammer off some of the rust, the flakes. I'm going to cut off the end of this hook because that's not usable. Then I'll light up the forge and we'll get going here. It's been raining a lot. Had to cover up the forge. Alright, enough talking. Let's get to forging. Now that we have pretty much forged out the bevels, I'm going to forge in the tang. Now a few new things I did try on this blade, because now I've been forging a year. This is like a big milestone in my forging experience, my forging journey. I've made a year, so I wanted to try a few things new. And first of all, I want to say thanks to my parents, Green Beetle, Sandtown's Bladesmith, Alex Norton. None of these people sponsor the channel, by the way, but you're not supposed to know about that. And just lots of motivation from lots of people. My best friends definitely helping out there too. So I wanted to learn something new on this blade, at least one thing new. So one of the things I did was forged in bevels that had plunge lines. I'd never done this before, and it turned out very, very well. Another thing I did was a 600 grit polish, which I'd never done that before either. I've always been around 400 and 220, usually 220, so I was very excited about that. I'm just finishing straightening out the bevels. Then I'll do the rough grind. And after I take it off the disc grinder, I'll bolt it down, or yeah, clamp it down to my chunk of 2x4 and I'll hand file it. Now, I didn't show it because we would be here a tremendously long time, but this is, I think, the third day of filing this thing. It took me forever because it's just harder steel. It's not quenched yet, but it's still pretty hard. So 3 days later, I'm done, finally done hand filing it, and then I'll take it over to the forge and quench it in water. And I had to quench it 3 times, but you're not going to see it. You're just going to see the successful one, because the other time it's warped. And it skates a file very well. Now I did the final grind, and now I'm hand sanding it to 600 grit. And I'll buff it. Just gives it a nice satin look. That's right, I also got some lighting inside my forge too, which helps a lot, especially when you're hand sanding, because before you could hardly see the scratches in there. Got our first grit on, and it's looking very nice. Now we'll go on to the guard. This is a chunk of mild steel. I'm just going to file it. Take out some of the oxide marks in it. Then I'll sand it, and then I'll slap it on the blade and see what it looks like. It looks pretty good, but there is a space between the ricasso and the guard. So what I end up doing is I put a piece of dyed elk hide in there, and it looks pretty cool. Now I'll cut out this handle shape. Alright, there's our chunk of wood. Let's go cut this out real quick. Okay, it's all cut out, and now I'm going to epoxy the handle. And a few hours later, because this is 5-minute epoxy, it's all dried up. Now I'll do the final sanding with the belt sander, and then I'll hand sand it. I don't usually hand sand my handles either, so this was something new too. But I did learn a ton off this blade that I'm going to apply in further blades that I make. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And this was just such a big learning experience for me. I mean, it had its hardest parts too. It wasn't always fun, but I think it turned out pretty nice, you know. The geometry is not perfect, but, you know, it's more of a display item. So, have a good one, guys.